A deal on Dickens, who could resist? A stack of Austen, warmly kissed. Golden Age crime tales twist and turn, every page a treasure to learn. Books keep coming home with me, piles so tall they're all I see. Turn a page and sail the sea, reading always feels so free.
Hi, my name is Talia. Welcome to Talia Nerds Out. Now, this video won't make it out before Friday, most likely. Today is Thursday, which is, I guess normally Thursday is like Poetry Thursday or something like that. I don't read much in the way of poetry, but I happen to have my portable Edgar Allan Poe because I gotten it, and that video is to come out with that book haul, with the idea of having Poe in time for my birthday, since he and I share a birthday January 19th. And I was flipping through because, I mean, everyone is basically familiar with his more famous poems like The Raven, The Bells, I think even Lenore. And the funny thing is, I don't even think that, even though that's his most famous poetry, that's not necessarily the poetry I like the rhythm for the best. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not a big poetry person. I like Robert Frost, if I am to point to a poet. But as a general rule, I don't really read much in the way of poetry. But one thing I can't help but notice, and this is generally a theme with Poe's work, any of the Poe's works that I've read in the past, is there's a very darkness to, there's just a lot of darkness to Poe. Oh, by the way, my Edgar Allan Poe bookmark for my Poe collection. But two of the poems stuck out to me, and several of them I do like the beat, for lack of a better term, the rhythm of. They aren't quite as long, because sometimes with the lines for like The Raven or Lenore, it's each line is such a long line that I feel like the rhythm can get lost a little bit easier. And maybe it's just because I'm not necessarily a big poetry person. Perhaps I'm not reading in the way that would best represent that poetry when it's read by someone who reads poetry well. But when I read several of these, like he has A Dream Within a Dream, he has one called Sonnet Silence, even Israfel, and I think the other one was maybe The Lake 2. All of these have this feeling of sadness and darkness, and even a level of despair or depression at the very least to them. And it made me think about the fact that I also have this Edgar Allan Poe biography I got last year, and I'm like, okay, after I finish his writings, maybe I should read his biography, because there's something wrong with this man. Some sort of tortured soul or something. I mean, and every photo that you see of him kind of gives that feeling too. He just looks sad. But this is a book by Jeffrey Mayers. It has nice pictures in it. I think the pictures are all in the center. So I might read that. This would count for, by the way, Manifest Destiny. If someone was to want to read Poe's works and or read a biography about Poe, this would count for Ariane's year-long readathon, Manifest Destiny, which is basically reading anything that's American, like American author, and about some sort of American history, something like that takes place during Victoria's reign in England. So Edgar Allan Poe was Victorian author, so he would count, as would his works. But back to more of the poetry example, two poems in particular, they're shorter ones, but I mean, so you have A Dream Within a Dream, which is actually quite sad. Take this kiss upon the brow, and in parting from you now, thus much let me avow, you are not wrong who deem that my days have been a dream. Yet if hope has flown away, in a night or in a day, in a vision or in a non, is it therefore the less gone? All that we see or seem is but a dream within a dream. I stand amid the roar of a surf-tormented shore, and I hold within my hand grains of the golden sand. How few, yet how they creep through my fingers to the deep, while I weep, while I weep. O God, can I not grasp them with a tighter clasp? O God, can I not save one from the pitiless wave? Is all that we see or seem but a dream within a dream? It's just kind of sad and a bit, it's you can almost hear the torture, and it's a sad cry of a poem. I like, even though this one's haunting and I keep finding myself returning to it, even El Dorado, which you could argue has a lighter tone, points to, seems to point to death. It is, I'm so interested in seeing what his biography will show. Because, here's El Dorado. Again, like I said, it's a lighter tone, but for all that, it's not light. Gaily bedight, a gallant knight, in sunshine and in shadow, had journeyed long, singing a song, in search of El Dorado. But he grew old, this knight so bold, and o'er his heart a shadow fell as he found no spot of ground that looked like El Dorado. And as his strength failed him at length, he met a pilgrim's shadow. Shadow, said he, where can it be, this land of El Dorado? Over the mountains of the moon, down the valley of shadow, ride boldly, ride, the shade replied, if you seek for El Dorado. Now this one has a lighter tone, but I still feel like it's kind of pointing again toward death, even if it's not as, it's almost like pointing to like, okay, El Dorado, that El Dorado, this land of riches and wealth and abundance, even that, like that, the only place that can be found in this poem is after death, which, okay, you can point to that being a hopeful end to it, but it's almost like the only hope that I can find in any of Poe's poetry is this kind of like pointing to this hope of an El Dorado after you go over the moon, over the mountains of the moon and down the valley of shadow, which to me is like death. So it's just, there's something, I'm looking forward to reading Poe's biography eventually, because what's going on in this man's head where all of his poetry just seems to moan and ache, or the only hope that, only even remotely hopeful poem he has, even that points to El Dorado being beyond, over the mountains of the moon and down the valley of shadow. It's just, yeah. Actually, El Dorado sounds like it could be set to some music and could be a song. I know there is a country song that is called El Dorado. But I kind of feel like this one could also be just, it'd be a short song, but you could, just the rhythm of it feels like it could be. But yeah, I do plan on picking out some of my Poe to read leading into my birthday. His and mine share birthdays. I've read some of these, over the years. Everyone's read I think The Raven and Lenore and The Bells, just for his poems, but Pit and the Pendulum. I don't think I've read, I'm not sure if I've read The Pit and the Pendulum. I've read The Premature Burial. I've definitely read Casca of Amontillado. I think everyone has read that, and The Telltale Heart. But I haven't read any of his mysteries, which is a shame, and that's going to be changed. So, yeah, I just wanted to address some of the stuff in here that I haven't read yet, because it's, especially for the poetry, even though, like I said, this video is unlikely to come out in time for Thursday. And maybe I'll even, upon editing this, go, oh, heck no, and not post it after all. But, yeah. Looking forward to getting more into Poe. I haven't read as much of him as I thought I had. And, yeah, maybe even at some point for Manifest Destiny, touching into his biography as well, which I've had for a while. I just haven't, I've been saving it. And for a while I picked it up, I want to say it was last year, maybe it was the year before, but I want to say it was last year. Not even quite sure how I got around to picking it up. It must have come up recommended to me when I was picking up books on Dostoevsky and stuff. Oh, you know what? I think I was picking up a lot of author biographies after my Christmas birthday, because my birthday and Christmas are really close together. I think probably around that time period when I was picking Dostoevsky's biography up, I probably got a bunch of authors recommended to me, and this probably got recommended to me then. So actually, I probably had this about a year, if I picked it up at that time period. So, yes, we'll see if I read this year, but I am definitely going to be reading some Poe in the lead up into his birthday, our birthday, and then beyond. Okay, so yes, thank you for joining me for this unplanned video about Edgar Allan Poe, which may or may not be posted. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. God bless. Bye-bye.
Books keep coming home with me, piles so tall they're all I see. Turn a page and sail the sea. Reading always feels so free.